Hello, everyone. We're live. Very excited to see you. I thought there would be an intro music. I thought we were waiting for some intro music to go because normally what happens is there's a big like woof on the screen. Very nice to see everybody. We're going to do a little bit of kind of stalling to make sure everyone's here, but I'm very excited to be joined today by my very special guest from ElevenLabs, Mr. Szymon. Now, Szymon, your name is going to be a bit of a pain for me as someone from the UK. So Szymon, introduce yourself and let me know how I can refer to you as well as everyone else in the chat.
Thanks for the intro. And yeah, my name is Szymon, but it's quite difficult to pronounce for a lot of people. Whenever I get on calls, everyone's like, what, how do I pronounce that? But yeah, it's Szymon. You can say Simon. I'm here at ElevenLabs. I've been here since early March. Previously, I worked in the BDR team at Stripe, and then as a program manager, so in a bit of a different function, so more on the product side at Stripe as well. And yeah, absolutely delighted to be here and to join you, especially since ElevenLabs does power those AI voice notes to some extent as well.
It does. And give us an introduction to ElevenLabs. Tell us how does that work? And most people will know this, but just so that they know, ElevenLabs does what?
Yeah, so ElevenLabs is an AI audio research and deployment company. So what does it mean? It means two things. So first, there's the research component of it. So unlike a lot of AI audio companies, we make our own proprietary audio models. So that's the research component. And then there's turning that into products. And so when it comes to the products, our fantastic product engineering teams turn those into products such as text-to-speech, which was really the start of the journey, and that also powers the lemlist voice notes that we're going to discuss. But there's also speech-to-text, so really state-of-the-art transcription models, and finally conversational AI, which is probably one of the most exciting developments. Because, I mean, just picture being able to talk to a customer service agent that is purely AI, and is able to have a perfect dynamic conversation with you in 32 languages and way more soon. Since we just released our new text-to-speech that powers 72 languages.
Imagine if there was a webinar that was going to show you exactly how to write the AI prompts for that. Goodness, here we are. Welcome,
exactly.
Everyone. So that's what we're going to do today. So for myself, very briefly, I'm the customer success lead. That's the first time I've had to say that. Normally it's sales lead. I very recently transitioned to customer success lead at lemlist. And funnily enough, ElevenLabs are a client of ours. Very smart team. And what we're going to do I'm going to look at the camera up here, also one or two notes down here. So maybe if the screen could go on that camera, in fact, if I just speak to one of my producers just there. What you will get over the next 30 minutes, okay, just to make sure everyone understands, is the value that you can use in terms of writing AI prompts right now at the end of the call, over the next 30 minutes, real campaigns that I'm going to share my screen on. And anyone that uses, there's some of the clients in my portfolio that are in this webinar because I've seen you. Hello. You might even recognize your own companies. Then obviously, yes, it's being recorded. It'll be sent to you afterwards. And then, of course, you can take away any questions and answers that you have at the end. So, ladies and gentlemen, Szymon, Simon, let's go on to the actual webinar. So here, Simon, let me know what you think. Let's see if AI can replace humans when it comes to outreach. It's almost become a bit of a buzzwordy question, but what do you really think about this? Very briefly, what's your first instinct into that?
The short answer is no. However, we would be, I think, it would be short-sighted to neglect and to not take into account the significance that it has and the power that it has in terms of being able to make us more effective at outreach. So replacing humans, no, but making us significantly better at our jobs and much more efficient, 100% yes.
Perfect. And let us know what you think in the chat. Guys, hello. We can see you. We have a little column on the right-hand side. I can see all of your...
Yes, we do.
What producer Pierre is going to do, he told me not to mention him twice. I've mentioned him already. What he's going to do is he's going to put the questions at the bottom of the screen and we're going to answer them. So if you have any questions, Tal, should I personalize using AI the subject line? Should I personalize the trigger using AI? Is there a current process that I can do? Is there a value-based CTA that I can use with AI, et cetera, et cetera? Put it in the prompt. Okay, what we want to avoid is we want to avoid crappy AI generated stuff. We want to avoid it being, we basically also want to avoid the manual side of things and be able to do things at scale without actually having avoiding the relevancy that we have from a manual approach. We want to make sure that AI can stay relevant, and it's a bit of a paradox because right now, almost everything that you maybe you've had this before yourself, Szymon, it sounds like a robot already. So we're going to see if we can get that improved. So let's look here. Here what we have on the left-hand side, Mr. Pierre, maybe you want to just zoom in ever so slightly so we can see, as pretty as me and Szymon are. There we go. This here is the kind of message, like I said, that I'm describing here. So the kind of thing where, okay, it's written, but it's pretty generic. Anyone can write that. It's the kind of thing that ChatGPT, the early days, you say, write me a good message, and it comes out with something that's a bit flattering, really generic, no real value. It's quite unclear what you're getting. Versus what you also have, you might do manually, a really in-depth, a real personalized message that is great, personalized to that one person, takes ages. And it requires you to go through and manually take a look at that person. If you have a tier 1 list, really important leads, that's fine. But you want to be able to do a mix of both. And if you focus on things that are only valuable, I'm trying not to use the words that are coming up, but relevant information, this is the kind of thing that you can write. So have a little look at that there. That's the kind of message that we're going to look for. Szymon, the last time you received something really top quality, can you remember? An AI email, AI LinkedIn message?
I do, yes. It was a while ago, though.
Here you go. So not very often. And here what we have is producer Pierre's favorite 4-step: bad human, average AI, good human, using AI. That's his little 4-step process. So before we get into the AI stuff, if we move on, we need to understand what will make your message read and replied. So once you've mastered AI, you've only mastered it really when people actually think it's someone human that's written it. Now, if you look and zoom in there, what you can see on the screen, if we can have a quick look, is you see someone replying to an AI message that I wrote even a long time ago, right? It was a real long time ago when I wrote this message, and the reply was really cool pitch. They couldn't work out if it was AI or not. This is what we're going to show you as well. So what most people don't understand is the difference between relevancy and personalization. This is really, really key. And in a lot of meetings that I do, a lot of the top clients using lemlist, a lot of people doing prospection overall don't understand this difference. And I'll also tell you, a lot of the geniuses on LinkedIn sharing their advice don't understand it either. They're getting paid 10 times what me and you watching this are. Anyway, I digress. The difference between the two is this. Relevancy is essentially what makes people actually reply, something that's relevant. You might prospect me as a customer success lead in a French startup that is growing 1.5, 2 million every single month. That's relevant to me. Personalization is saying, hi, Tal, I saw that webinar that you did, and at 20 minutes, I saw you say this. Only I said that. So that's personalized just to me. Can you see the difference? Relevancy will get you those meetings. Personalization is that little bit that makes it clear, normally that a human wrote it, but at least it's got that subtle reference to them. So here, relevancy, you've got the persona. You need a trigger. Are you speaking to the right persona? Do you have a good reason to reach out to them? AI can help with this. A problem tied to your prospects' KPIs. Are you understanding that? Or are you just writing emails for no reason, talking about yourself, your own features? Do you have a value-based CTA? Is it something reasonably valuable that that person can use to solve their problem? So that's what we're trying to do with relevancy versus personalization. Like I say, bit of storytelling, conversational tone maybe, and a reference to them. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the difference. Szymon, personalized but relevant messages. Do you receive a lot of them? What's the difference to you? Do you have a sort of a different take on that? Or do you see a lot of examples of over-personalization maybe?
I think not many examples of over personalization, and not many examples of personalization, unfortunately, because, but what I would say is 100% agree with you. I think being able to create a story that is relevant for the particular company and then relatable for the particular person that you're reaching out to, and also shows that your personal sound is in there, is going to be much more significant. And frankly, if I got such messages more often, I'll definitely respond, even if I wasn't interested at all.
I found that you, at least if you personalize well, get a response from someone. Is it a positive reply
Yeah.
though? That's often the big difference. So what you're trying to look for, again, if we move on, what AI can really do to help you and where it can help is those two bits that have been circled in purple there. For the purpose of this, what we're going to show you, the 3 examples, is a real trigger, a real reason that you've found to reach out to someone. If I want to reach out to Simon here, I need a real genuine reason that he might be interested in something that I can do for him. I need a real reason why there's an indication that he's got a problem I can solve. Then you've also got AI, which we can show a subtle reference to Simon. What is it I can get about Simon that maybe there's a translation into Polish? Maybe I can translate the subject line into Polish for him. Maybe there's a PS. Maybe there's something about his interests, something he's shared, maybe to do with voice notes, that sort of thing there. Maybe the fact that most people can't pronounce his name. If I can scrape that information, use AI, that would be something that me and him both have in common. Okay, so how do we use it? Let's take a look here at lemlist. One of the main things that we're talking about here, we're going to get onto ElevenLabs with voice cloning, but we talked about having an AI agent. We have 3. So we created AI variables in 3 different types of agents. Now we have them here at the bottom left. You have perplexity. You guys might not know. Surprising amount of people don't know about perplexity. Don't know why, but I thought the people I thought would know about it don't. Perplexity is one that you can use to scrape websites, web domains, that sort of thing. So if you want data, you can go tell Perplexity inside of lemlist, go to this person's website and find some information there. Mega powerful if you tell it what to do properly. ChatGPT is good for categorization. It's good for a lot of things, but particularly that. So it can transform the data and it can tell you X or Y, yes or no. And then you can start to create relevant campaigns for the right people. Claude is the poet of the 3. Claude is the one that really puts it nicely, that really phrases nice phraseology. Perhaps you're not a native English speaker. Perhaps you are, but you can't write very well. That's fine. Claude is the one that helps you do that and makes it a little bit sexy, a little bit of a sprinkle of special. That's what Claude does. If we move on here, so use case number 1, we maybe just zoom in ever so slightly, Mr. Pierre. If we zoom in there, we can see cleaning and categorization. As I said before, you might want to be wanting to identify a B2B or B2C. No problem. You write a prompt, you add ChatGPT, you can see the top right, and you say, please give me all the companies that identify as B2B according to this criteria. Great, there you go, B2B, B2B, B2B. What do you do in a tool like lemlist? You say, well, the B2B clients, I want to send an email. The B2C clients, I want to send a LinkedIn message. The B2B clients, I want to receive a voice message using ElevenLabs. The B2C clients, I want to, etc. You see, so you can start to categorize by that, as well as the company name. You can use it to clean data. How many times have you gone on LinkedIn and you find someone's name in capitals, you find someone's name with an emoji? You can't really do that at scale. So AI gets rid of all that crappy stuff that you don't want to do. Is it an agency? You reach out to agencies only. You import a load of leads, 2,000 leads. Which ones are agencies? Ask AI. Not hard. You can see 2 things here. Hey, Kevin, as growth manager, you must have heard about the insert. That using AI goes to a nice clean message, not capitals all over the place, no emojis. And then you can see here in lemlist, you've got your chain, custom conditions, variables. Use case number 2. Perplexity is this one here, using it for research. Hey, Danny, I've noticed that on the left-hand side. Hey, Danny, I've noticed that competitor just launched feature in tool to help whatever it is. If you ever thought about hopping on AI trend, this is the moment. Then you can see inside using competitor domain as a variable, find the AI-powered tool. The user has a goal to achieve it, and then a key AI-powered feature. Basically, you can see in the middle there, you write the prompt and you tell it what you would like the information to have based on the message you want to send. So there on the right-hand side, you've got a few different examples. For any information publicly available online, you can use Perplexity to go and scrape it. You might scrape ElevenLabs, and if I wanted to prospect Szymon, I might say, hey, Szymon, I saw that ElevenLabs has just released this particular new feature, this particular language, this particular something. Therefore, you're probably looking to prospect leads that would speak, I don't know, Tamil. And then therefore, would you mind if I shared with you some lemlist prospection sequences that you could use to prospect new clients in the Tamil region, Tamil language, something like that, okay? Stupid example, but you can see here. You can even scrape VC-backed companies, is it an agency, etc. I found one really interesting is to, let's say you have a translation service. If you would like to find spelling mistakes or discrepancies between languages, you could say, go and scrape this website and find the problems or errors, typos, whatever you want on this person's website between languages. Something like that. And I'll show you some more examples. Simon, your thoughts so far? I've spoken plenty.
Sorry, I think this is absolutely brilliant. I think what you started with is kind of cutting through just this massive amount of data and being able to make things relevant and personalized. And I think where this really stands out is if we just zoom out for a second and think about it, the people that we prospect to receive tons of emails and LinkedIn messages every day, every hour almost, if we're talking about really large enterprises. So being able to leverage notes like this allows us to essentially go through all of this very quickly, allows us to make a message personalized, therefore gives us a higher chance that the message will get their attention. And then we get to speak about real, true problems that they face, and then related to potential solutions that we can then solve and deliver. So
exactly, I couldn't agree more. It all stems back from there. Now, one disclaimer, if we just go back to the previous slide, one thing that a lot of you are doing now, and afterwards what you're going to do is you're going to write a prompt and put the whole email and just ask Perplexity or AI to write your email. It won't work, ladies and gents. I promise you it won't work. I've tried it. It doesn't work. What works better is what I'm going to show you afterwards. It might be the next slide, Mr. Pierre. If we go on to the next slide. Instead, what you need to do is you need to add little bits. It is this slide. So this is one I wrote a long time ago, but it still holds up nicely. I haven't got AI. It's only the bit in purple that's written by AI. What I've done is I've got the shell, and then I've got AI to scrape the particular relevant pieces of information that I know AI is going to be good at, and I know that is going to pique the interest of the person that I'm trying to reach out to. For example, hi, Esteban, that's easy. Saw you focus on insert AI, because I have asked AI, I've asked Claude to give me a summary of what Esteban and his company focus on. Really nice. Now, what does that mean? This is what I call an evergreen trigger, slightly off topic, but an evergreen trigger is one that works all the time. I'm half cheating, but with AI, what I can do is I can say something that's always true. And it's also relevant and personalized to this. It's relevant, sorry, it's not personalized. It's relevant to the person I'm reaching out to, because Esteban does focus on helping businesses get closer to their customers digitally. Or at least he did before he moved to lemlist. But that's the point, okay? His old company was focused on doing that. So what's Esteban going to do when he sees that? He's going to read the rest of the email. So that throughout the email, you're being smart, you're saying things that are true and things that are piquing interest. And what you can do here is you can use the prompts on the right-hand side, the components of that there. If, for example, you were writing a subject line, you might say, imagine you're an SDR writing cold emails, writing a cold email subject line. The goal is to make them curious enough to open without looking spammy. Input company website or input company description, whatever your input might be. Pick 2 words, specific words from that input, all lowercase, 2 words, relevant tone, no buzzwords, no spam, no fluff. Example would be product returns. An example would be digital presence. And there, that means if it was Szymon in the call here, I might do something like AI voice note, voice record, something like that. You see, because that's relevant to what Szymon does. And if you do that for 50, 100, 1,000 leads, it really starts to make a difference for lots of different ways that we won't get into now. But there you go. You don't just create a whole email, you get little components. Szymon, you're going to be adjusting your emails now with AI?
well, what I'm gonna do is redoing the sequences that I wrote in the past based on all the information that you just gave us now. So that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Okay, that's what I know, that a little bit of information has normally gone on with the meetings that I do. Beautiful. Any other prompts that you use, Szymon, as well, that the chat can take advantage of? We're all one big team. Any other prompts that you use? Using
Prompts.
emails, maybe voice note. Is there a particular prompt apart from the things you're going to show in a minute?
I mean, there is a series of prompts that we use. I think all of them are dedicated for a bunch of verticals. I'm gonna show some examples of messages, as you just said, but that will be it. It's pretty
Cool.
general.
Lovely. I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll move on to this here. And when you have your second there, we're doing not bad for time, guys. Any questions, Producer Pierre? Put them up at the bottom. I saw one flash up and then I saw it disappear. But if there's any questions, Producer Pierre's going to put them on the screen and I will answer them. Oh, there we go. Where can we include Icebreaker on LinkedIn? Should it be taken from database or could it be based on LinkedIn profile? How to do it? In this, very simply, I'll show you in a second within AI. What you can do is that input, you can say something like, with lemlist, what you can do is if I want to prospect Simon, I go on Simon's LinkedIn, I import him using lemlist, and then I click enrich LinkedIn data. That gives me a lot of data about Simon's company, Simon's name, Simon's job title, etc. When I've got the company description, I've got what ElevenLabs does, because that's where he works. So I can say to my AI, hey, AI, take this information, ElevenLabs company summary, because every single company has one on LinkedIn, and create me an icebreaker based on whatever it is that I want using AI. So I might say, take the information in company description and create me a 5-word icebreaker that's reasonably neutral, just something about the company. Great. And it will say, hi, Simon, loved ElevenLabs newest release. I loved ElevenLabs newest release, something like that. I'm not sure. That's what you can do. You use the information that's there. You tell the AI to use that as input, and then it will write it for you. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Whatever data you have, however you import it, you can use that as a variable. Okay, we'll move on here. The prompts are there in the chat, by the way, so let it know. Let Mr. Pierre know about the prompts. ElevenLabs, here we go, an example. ElevenLabs is an AI platform that creates realistic human-like voiceovers from text. Who might we reach out to? Well, in a particular campaign, the audio directors of video game editors might be someone that we reach out to. What is it that we're doing? Well, not translating games into specific languages. That might be what video editors are doing, audio directors are doing. How is it? Well, the number of languages in the latest released video game is what we need to get. So we're going to take a look at this here, and we're going to do it live. What we can do is this here. Here we go. Watch this not work because I'm recording my screen, by the way, but here it is. Here's the campaign that we've made, and we tested it Word. This is something that you can do inside of lemlist. You get it. Here's the concrete example within the lemlist platform. What you need to do is click this little plus here, and you go down to AI variable. You guessed it. Then what we need is we need our first input. So we need the last games, the last game that was released by the video game publisher. Okay, so what we can do is we can click this here, and we have this prompt. You've all written a prompt in ChatGPT or somewhere. You know how to do it. You just write it in the prompt section of lemlist. Okay. Find the most recent game released, not scheduled, the last one released to date by the video game publisher, company name, Nintendo, whatever, Sony, whatever, company domain, and provide the total number of languages it is available in, along with a list of those languages. Nintendo.com as an example. I make sure that I have Perplexity clicked here. And then here we go, preview for this lead. It should work. It might take a second. But this is where we would have the output. Beautiful. There we go. Donkey Kong Country HD was launched on this particular date for the Nintendo Switch. According to official releases, there it is. There's the number of languages. We have our output there. Not bad for about 3 seconds. Then what we can do is, okay, that's fine, but now we need to write it. So let's say we need to find the missing language that it hasn't got yet. Okay, this is what ElevenLabs might do. We need another AI variable. Here we're going to use the one that we just generated as our input. Analyze a list of languages in which the game is translated and give a list of 3 languages that are not in that list that present a big missing market for this video game editor. Only return the list of 3 languages without text. Use last game and languages, the one we just made, as your input. Let's click preview for this lead. And lo and behold, Arabic, Hindi, and Turkish. That is a big market that the leads that ElevenLabs is reaching out to are missing out on. So you're providing a little bit of value to Nintendo. That is how you can use AI to book some meetings. Then what you do, you put it into perhaps an email that looks a bit like this. Questions, add them in the chat. Simon, what are your thoughts?
This is a fantastic message. I mean, and I think the prompts, again, this ties back to exactly what you were saying earlier, but it kind of ties the theory with practice. I mean, the fact how deeply personalized and relevant the messaging can be with the use of the right prompting techniques, and then the right variables.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of the variables, this is what it looks like in an actual email. So there you go. You've imported that information. Okay, but what does it look like, Tal? Can you show us a real life example? It's right here on the screen. What you have here is you have your subject line, missing language for Gears of War Reloaded. If you reach out to the guy that's managing Gears of War Reloaded and he's managing the languages, and you reach out to him with a subject line, said missing languages for Gears of War Reloaded, is he probably going to read the email? I would say yes. I've been so excited about the release of insert game on insert date. However, I noticed that you currently offer 12 languages adjusted with AI, but languages for larger markets like Arabic, Turkish, and Hindi are missing. At the bottom, I've created an example for Microsoft right here. Let me know your thoughts. So insert competitor. Can you see here? There's what it looks like on mobile. You can see here, all of the different bits are being added with AI. That's how you do AI at scale to actually get results. There's 2 more examples, so don't go anywhere. Any questions will appear because producer Pierre will put them at the bottom of the screen. And then we can move on. So that's how you do it. There's one example, okay? That's the kind of thing that you can kick on with gas. So the prompt is basically under AI variables. So we have a question. And if we're using our API key, is there a fail-safe in case there's an issue with our API? I'm going to quickly show you that so producer Pierre can go on the full screen. When you say fail-safe, this section here is the preview. So this is allowing you to check that your prompt's working all the time. If you go onto lead list, you will see here, and I'm going to show you this in the second example, you have your example and you have your data here. Any of you ops geeks in the chat, you will know that this is a bit like clay. It also happens in lemlist as well, okay? So here you can check. If any of this it looks wrong or it's a wrong output, you can come and check it here. And it's quite easy to see because you can use the toggle at the top. So yes, you can check. There's a fail-safe, but basically what happens is you click here when you want the game name, generate for 5 leads, and then you will see the ones that haven't worked very well because they appear at the top, basically. So you can check. You're not just going to send them out. Here's where you can start to decide as well. Last point on this, you can decide which leads you want to send to and when. You don't just generate it, send it with your eyes closed, and then see, hope for the best. No, you've got to use AI then alongside your human brain and send, perhaps even one by one. You don't need to, but that's how you have your little fail-safe. It's not just going to send on its own. No. Okay, next one. We have another example, I believe. In fact, I'm sure because I've seen the slides. What we're going to do is we're going to move on to one called My Traffic. Lovely. It's just going to go here any second now. My Traffic is a lovely company and I like them very much. My Traffic helps store owners see how many people and cars pass by their locations so they can pick the best place to open. If you want to open a restaurant, do you want to open a restaurant on a place where there's no people or there's lots of people? Correct, lots of people. So that's the kind of data that My Traffic has. Who are they going to reach out to? Well, property directors in the retail industry. How? Well, they might want to find property directors and they might want to find new stores. So, oh, I noticed that you opened a new store here. Okay, these are the kind of people that they might want to reach out to. What? Well, a misalignment between footfall and customer profile. Choose store location based on traffic rather than knowing the buyer intent. So let's say you have a restaurant that is a Brazilian rodízio restaurant, meat only. If most of the people in that area are vegan or vegetarian, you're not going to do very well. Extreme example. Do you get the idea? So there's a big mismatch between a load of people going past their stores and the quality of people that are actually going to go in their restaurant and convert, basically. So here, what you can do is you can very quickly, if I share this, I'll share my screen. I'll do it super quick. We go into We Transact. We can take a look at this here, write a short PS, example Lisbon, you can insert something like that. And let's look at this here. In the preview section, you have this particular location here. This is the wrong one, sorry, this is We Transact, it's not the right one. My Traffic here. Let's say you have lead is equal to opened a store recently. If they have opened a store recently, you can come along here and you can say, hey, first name, notice you opened a store recently on insert address. Here's the rest of the email. If they didn't, you can go along and you can say, hey, notice you haven't opened a store in Australia recently, but knowing KFC, that might soon change. It's about categorization, okay? You can work out the people that have and haven't opened a store recently. Thoughts, Simon?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just looking absolutely brilliant. And yeah, can't wait to see even more examples.
Perfect. Okay, we'll go a little bit quicker on the third one, and we'll show you that because that's a nice example as well. We have a third example from a company called We Transact. And what We Transact do is they help companies list on the Azure marketplace. So they might reach out to GTM leads of people that haven't been doing very well, even though they're listed on a particular marketplace. Looks a bit like this. here's what we do. I'll come along here. And another one, this is just to show that there's so many different ways and things that you can do with AI. You can categorize, you can write nice, sexy messages, or you can use it to actually have scrape data from the website. We transact here. Write a short PS that says I've been to insert location name a few months ago and highlight one specific non-generic thing I loved about it. Make it vivid, personal, quirky, avoid cliches. Here's an example. Just return the PS without any other text. When I come here, I have this particular listing. This is an app name, so this is going to be relevant to the person reaching out to. Hi, Andrew. Saw CIS hardened images while browsing the Azure marketplace this morning. Notice there are no reviews yet. Here's the rest of the listing. Here's a value-based CTA that I can offer. And here is a PS that I've written using AI. I visited Albany a few months ago and can't forget the quirky egg-shaped museum. Something like that, okay? You can use any of this. This is just an example, but this is where you can start to add a sprinkle of humanity, sprinkle of personal feeling into your emails. We'll move on. We've got a little game for everyone, I believe. So let's move on to this here. And by the way, just a reminder, of course, you have all the prompts. We will share the prompts if you would like them. Let us know again if you haven't seen already the chat. But there is the inside of lemlist. There's a link. And of course, we'll share this with you as well. But you can get all the prompts that we've written. I even have my own. There's lots of things there. But this is the kind of thing. You go into lemlist. There's a big prompts library. And you can use it directly in the tool with Perplexity, ChatGPT, or Claude AI. Either one. Little game. So vote in the chat. Which one of these is AI and which one is human? Here we go.
Hey Simon, Tal from lemlist here. I saw ElevenLabs release batch calling in June 2025. I'm guessing you're planning a webinar for call centers or telemarketing teams. One of our clients ran a multi-channel campaign for this audience and got solid results. Let me know if you want me to share their campaign.
Hey Simon, Tal from lemlist here. I saw ElevenLabs release batch calling in June 2025. I'm guessing you're planning a webinar for call centers or telemarketing teams. One of our clients ran a multi-channel campaign for this audience and got solid results. Let me know if you want me to share their campaign.
So there we go. Thoughts in the chat. Which one is AI generated? Number one or number two? It's kind of cheating because my voice has been here the whole time and anyone that watches these webinars. But there you go. What do you reckon? Simon, in the meantime, whilst we're doing this, tell us a little bit about your best campaign at the moment. How often do you include AI voice notes in your prospection? When did you start doing it?
Often I include AI in my prospecting ever since lemlist made it available. There's a simple reason for that, which is it is the best way to try to stand out. Right now, the amount of messages that our prospects get that are just typical LinkedIn messages that every single other salesperson sends, we can contrast that, for instance, with those AI-generated voice notes. And so if we compare that with everything that you've shown before, Tal, that considers the right prompting techniques and ensure that those messages are succinct, it's a way to cut through the chaos of our prospects' inboxes.
Absolutely. Now there's some answers. Some of the answers made me laugh as well whilst you were
Yeah.
You started great. Both. This is funny. I knew this would happen. That no one trusts these quizzes anymore. So everyone thinks like, nope, they're both like both of them are fake. That makes me laugh as well. That shows the quality. Maybe my voice is bad quality. Maybe it's that. Producer Pierre, you need to tell me when I can give the answer. But overall, let's have a little look at this as well. What we did, we added voice notes about a month ago. But in terms of why they were added as well and when people should use them, could you give us a little breakdown on sort of what your thoughts are on this slide? Give a bit of an understanding about the why, the when, and what the sort of end goal of having the voice notes is versus just LinkedIn and emails.
Sure. So I would say first and foremost, we want those response rates. We want positive, ideally positive reply rates that get us those meetings, that help us to close opportunities. And so first, that's the final objective. So I know I'm starting a bit other way around, given the why starts with the number of reps, but really we want those high response rates. Now, how do we get those high response rates? This is exactly where AI voice notes come in. as the slide mentions, that there's less than 1% of reps who send those voice notes. And so if we're talking about high response rates, about trying to stand out, these AI voice notes give us an opportunity to do that very easily and at scale. So that would be the why. The when, I think this is, I don't know, I'm still playing around with it. I think because the voice notes are so novel, exactly as the slide mentioned, sometimes I'll do it as soon as the connection request is accepted, or I will do it as that kind of pattern interrupt to be like, hey, is this relevant? Not exactly, but to say, is this relevant? Are you thinking of this? Precisely in order to draw attention not to the voice note itself, but rather to use the voice note itself to draw attention to the previous messages or emails that I sent before. So that would be the when. And the what, we gotta keep in mind that when we speak, it takes much skim through a message than to listen to it. So we have to make sure that we take between 30 seconds to a minute, really, really tops. But ideally, those messages should be very short.
Really nice. Really nice. Okay. And what you can do, yeah. Lovely. It was, yeah, so we're just lagging a bit there, but the, really nice. And what we're going to have is we're going to have someone show us exactly what his setup would be. A little answer. I can give the answer. Yeah. The answer was number 2. Number 2 is AI. Number 1 was me. Number 2 was completely AI. And I mean, again, I did it with ElevenLabs, and maybe now we can show you exactly how that you can do yourself. If you want to create and clone your own voice, you can do that. Number 2, completely AI. Simon, you share your screen and you go ahead. We're all yours.
Perfect. And so once I show a few voice notes, I think Tal and I will also be able to show you exactly how to clone your voice as well. So let's kind of start other way around with the voice notes themselves. I think part of the difficulty that I face at ElevenLabs is just the sheer amount of different prospects that we work with, which makes personalization difficult. But this is also where those AI variables come in and become useful. So the way we can go about it is pretty easy. So first, we want to make sure that we clone our own voice, and we can do this here. And once I'm done with this section, don't worry, Tal will show you exactly how those voices can be cloned.
Yeah.
So I can now pick my own voice.
Imagination is the key that unlocks every wonderful world.
Perfect. And it's there. And then I can add my personalized message. So as you see, there are some examples of AI variables that I could add into the message. Then let me play it. I believe you will be able to hear exactly what it sounds like with my cloned voice.
Should generate.
Yes.
And then you'll have it.
Hey, John. Congrats on the launch. With AI booming, 40% of consumers now use voice search every day. Instead of yet another email when someone abandons, imagine a conversational AI voice agent that helps customers pick items within app in seconds. I built a demo agent for keen to see it?
So, and again, we can leverage this to create various messages and go even deeper on kind of personalization and the use of various prompts that Tal showed to you guys earlier in the webinar. And what I will also make sure is to send those examples and share those with you after. If you also won't have any questions later about how I myself use voice notes, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn anytime as well.
Beautiful. And I'm sure what we can do is if I share my screen now, what we can do is I can show you how to create and clone your voice as well. It's beautiful. And what you have here is if you go into create a campaign, you go on to AI voice message. So here you've got email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. It's in beta right now, but that's coming. Here we go. Click on AI voice note. And here you click on clone your voice. And you will have, to get the best possible results, follow these recommendations, steady tone, natural style, etc. Start cloning, and then you read from a particular script. Once you do that, that's where you will start to get your voice cloned. Anything else I missed there? I don't think so. Once there's that, it's all there, right? And then what you can do is exactly like someone said, you can come along here and you can choose anyone's voice. Here you go, look.
A snow-covered forest whispers secrets beneath the moonlight.
There you go, mine.
The only time we waste is the time we spend thinking we are alone.
A bit deep, mine, but that's the idea.
And if I may, I just add two things here quickly. I think the fantastic things about what lemlist team has done is first making it extremely easy to create those voice clones, because in 2 minutes we can have a pretty almost instantaneously created voice clone here. And the second thing, you can even add your CEO's voice into the message and clone their own voice. That way you can plug it in and have the message from someone who's, well, than me, in my case, much higher than me in the company, given the additional relevance and significance, and potentially increasing those reply rates as well.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that I get prospected with my own voice.
Okay.
I'm not really sure I'm ready for that. Okay, let's have a look here. So the ElevenLabs campaign, if I take a look here, I can show you actually in the actual campaign. If I go on ElevenLabs, scroll down, and then here, the idea is what you can do is, let's see here. What you can do is you can add the voice note wherever it is that you would like. Now, the idea when you're doing multi-channel campaigns, without going into one of my actual training sessions or one of my, one of my enterprise client sessions, best practices, but you can add it anywhere really that you would like, and where's going to give the most probability. Someone mentioned it really nicely, that the person's going to reply to you in a positive way. So let's say we want to have the first email sent out. Send this. Okay. If they opened it within 5 days, yes. Okay, do you know what? I'm going to put a really keen voice message here. I'm going to put an AI voice message, and I'm going to say something like, hey, person, notice that you opened my email. Therefore, I was just hoping to send you this piece of information, this piece of value. Would it be okay if I shared? Insert valuable resource that you would like to share. That's what you can do. It can go absolutely anywhere. There should be a Morgan Freeman voice included. I agree. Maybe we can do some accents, but that there is where you can start to record with AI, put whatever message you would like, and it will go directly related to this. You could even add, let's say you want to say something like sent an email about, and then you can insert the variables that you had previously. What was it up here? Last game and languages up here. So that is where that you could even personalize it based on what you've written, the actual thing below. Also, if you go here, you have one previously done. There it is. Here's one actually specifically done from producer Pierre. And this is one that you can write literally exactly what it is. I saw this game name launched on this particular date. And if I click preview, this is going to work. Preview voice message for this lead. And obviously that takes a second to load.
Hey Gary, I saw Stellar Blade launched on April 26, 2024. Super exciting. I noticed you're offering 13 languages, but adding something like Arabic, Turkish, Hindi could help you reach even more players. Chess.com used ElevenLabs to add 30+ language voices in just 5 days. No actors needed, just your script. I made an example for Sony Interactive Entertainment. Can I send it over?
So you can see here, what did that do? It took the AI variable that we previously scraped from the website that we previously went through. It added it into a voice note and it said it. It's not bad. Okay, so if the person is in your connection, are they likely to reply to that? It sounds pretty realistic. Okay, so that is what we are using AI with, to hammer the point home one more time. It's not to look flashy, it's not to be fun, it's to make it sound so unbelievably relevant and personalized at scale that it would be crazy for the person to not reply. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been fabulous. There are questions if you would like to ask us. It is reasonably impressive. We love it. And the purpose in terms of value and actual usability you should have got from the previous 44 minutes from myself and my lovely guest, Mr. Szymon. Questions. Voice messages can only be sent if we are connected to the lead, right? You want to answer that one, Szymon?
Well, yes and no. There's an option to send messages outside, but typically yes. I mean, we have to have that connection request accepted in order to send out the message.
It's a really good point. And the question's a good one, because if you're not connected with the person, they won't receive your voice message, but you can send it. So as someone said, you can send it, but it won't really happen. So yes, you need to make sure that you can add the condition in lemlist, wait until the person accepts, then send a voice note. There would be a best practice in terms of in terms of that. What I'll do very briefly as well for you guys, I'm just going to share my screen there whenever producer Pierre has a second. I've never received a LinkedIn voice note before. Is there data to show that's actually boosting response rates? Over to you, Simon, again. Do you have any data or use cases where AI voice notes or voice notes have increased the positive response rate or response rate at all?
Yes, so I would say we've seen, based on some A/B testing, about a 9.5% increase in the reply rates relative to a campaign that did not use it. So I think this is quite staggering just on pure outbound. What I would also say is definitely check out some lemlist resources that are published on their blog. There are already some fantastic campaigns that use AI voice notes and have those statistics included as well. But yes, in my personal case, in our case at ElevenLabs, we're already seeing a staggering difference.
Yep, and from my side, do you know what specific particular use case? I can't think of one right now, but from my own anecdotal experience of God knows how many calls, meetings, and clients using it, whenever I get the question, should we use voice notes? Do you think sending voice notes is good? The answer is always yes. I really mean it. Send voice notes, even if it's, what was your best practice, Simon? Less than 30 seconds?
30 seconds, yeah, 30, 40 seconds.
30 seconds, and you have templates that really work that you can share if people message you on LinkedIn. We can put your LinkedIn in the chat, I think.
Yes, yeah. Please put my LinkedIn on the chat, and I'll be happy to connect with anyone here to share some best practices.
Perfect. Yeah, a good idea. And really, ElevenLabs, you were very impressive the last time that we had a meeting, because they came into my portfolio and I said, "Oh, hello, guys. You're the guys that we use for the voice notes." And then I was quite impressed by your questions. Your team is on it. Anyway, I've never received, so yes, do it. Really, they do work. I've never received a LinkedIn voice note before. Is there data to show this? Oh, it's already the same question. I'm surprised you haven't received a LinkedIn voice note. And that is a really good point. You're trying to do things that differentiate you even a little bit. So if you haven't received any before, if you're not flooded with voice notes, do that because you stand out. That makes you stand out. That makes you different. And that means that the person's likely to see you, remember you, and ultimately gives you a chance to get a positive reply. That's the name of the game. Test it out, though. If it doesn't work, test it out. You'll get the stats. If we just go on that screen then, Mr. Pierre, to come back, there's a little structure here that I use to write emails, and it basically has different stages. It starts with a subject line. We might want to zoom in a little bit, then a trigger, then current process, pains, etc. The building blocks you need basically have a decent subject line. All you might do with a voice note is you might start to put these pieces of information into a voice note. You might start to do prospection in general. You know, it's something to be used alongside a good campaign. You've got voice notes with ElevenLabs, you've got calls, you've got emails, you've got LinkedIn. Use all of it here. And there's a little resource that you can use just to think, okay, what should I be putting in my voice note script? Well, don't put your features. Don't put the benefits of your feature, saving time, saving money. Don't talk about yourself, and don't really focus just on the pains. Focus on triggers, current process, pains, maybe positive symptoms, the root causes, and something valuable to them. We'll leave it there overall. Simon, thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure.
Likewise, definitely a pleasure. And yeah, again, for anyone listening in, please reach out to me anytime. We'll be happy to discuss voice notes and ElevenLabs generally as well. So yeah, thank you very much.
Very cool team. And you're growing. What's your ARR? Where are you guys now?
Well, right now I am in London.
And your ARR, so like your revenue though.
Sorry. Yeah. So I can't reveal it. We grew to 100 mil ARR in about 16, 17 months. So we're one of the fastest growing AI companies. So there's about 78% of Fortune 500 companies already using ElevenLabs for a wide variety of fascinating and novel use cases, like in the case of lemlist with the voice notes.
Really nice. Beautiful. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to summarize very quickly. If you want a campaign that books meetings, basically personalization is nice, but you also need to be relevant. Remember the difference between the two. There's 3 possible agents, Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT. They have different perfections, different areas of genius, if you like, writing, categorization, and scraping as well. In Lemlist, you can use them all 3. You've seen some examples. You can make it simpler. You can make it advanced, up to you. And to stand out, like we said, using AI is a beautiful way where you can clone your voice and you can do something that hardly anyone is doing right now. If you do that, the probability that you get a positive reply from your campaign goes up. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon. We're still going, Mr. Pierre. Right.